Switchback VR is Supermassive Games having a third swing at PlayStation VR. After Until Dawn Rush of Blood, which was decent, and The Inpatient, which wasn't as good, Switchback VR is a strange greatest hits of the Dark Pictures Anthology Season 1, and like the VR Until Dawn experience, you're back on a roller coaster. But this time around, the power of PlayStation VR 2 is present, and it makes a huge difference. I don't want to spend this review waxing lyrical too much about PlayStation VR 2 as I've done that elsewhere, but the feature set means that Switchback VR is oddly reminiscent of Astro's Playroom. Obviously, thematically, they couldn't be more different. One is a glorious celebration of platforming action, while the other is about scaring your pants right off. But in the same way Astro's Playroom was a showcase of the DualSense controller's bell and whistles, Switchback VR does the same for PSVR 2. Where even titles like Horizon Call of the Mountain didn't quite show off the haptic feedback or eye tracking to the full extent it was possible, Switchback VR is one of the best games to sit down and show people your shiny new hardware. After introducing the concept of what's actually going on here, you're immediately going to be getting used to the haptic feedback of each individual gun, or how it feels to smash your head into a beam that you didn't dodge properly. You've been in a train crash, you see, and are reliving moments and locations from that first season of the Dark Pictures Anthology. You're going through each game in order, starting with Man of Medan. There are 2 stages per game and one final level that's wholly original. Villains, enemy types and locales from the 4 games are all present and correct, and there are Easter eggs for major fans littered throughout the highly destructible environments. Boss encounters are included, and these are some of the highlights of Switchback VR, especially the battle relating to the Devil in Me. In fact, of all the 4 main games, it's only House of Ashes that feels a little bit of a letdown. Man of Medan excels thanks to the spooky underwater themes and creaking ships, while Little Hope relies on jump scares and darkness, whispering voices tickling your ears as fog engulfs you. House of Ashes is a little more simple, but introduces some more puzzle elements which aren't quite executed as well as I'd like. Being on rails, you might miss a shot that's related to a puzzle solution, so to solve that, it just makes you go round again. The Devil in Me is the biggest highlight and makes use of the PSVR 2 headset to its fullest. Don't blink, the game tells you via blood scrawled across a door. Yeah, whatever you might think, before being greeted with a mannequin, unmoving and foreboding. Nothing is happening, nobody is moving, you're just staring at a still but creepy model. Don't blink, it said, but your eyes are drying out, so you blink. Everything's moved. There are now loads of enemies encroaching on your personal space. The trouble is, once you blink, you're going to do it again, and now they are constantly switching places, and now they're attacking you. It's a terrific use of the eye-tracking feature, and as an introduction to what PSVR 2 is capable of producing, it's a bit of a corker. Elsewhere in the Devil in Me levels, there's the introduction of a shocker gun, which is used for some excellent environmental puzzle solving and to dish out serious pain on the enemies. There are more than your standard pistols throughout Switchback VR, from Uzis to shotguns. There's even a UV light which can highlight breakable objects during specific missions. These all have limited ammo, and some are better than others. Spraying and praying might be fine on easier difficulties, but to get the big points and get up the leaderboards, I suspect more accuracy is going to be needed. Switchback VR is a seriously enjoyable 3 to 5 hours in VR, with a load of replayability. Each level has multiple paths within it that vary up how things play out with different encounters. There's hidden secrets everywhere, and it's a nice touch how after each of the Dark Pictures Anthology games is completed within, you'll see choices you made, so to speak, which relate to discovery or things you did or didn't do. You can even save a fellow passenger per game, which means the how to keep everyone alive ideal is maintained even in a virtual reality experience. The only time it falls down really is when you die, because loading times aren't great for a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and there's no quick reloading when you die here. Likewise, maybe I'm nitpicking, but some of the visuals don't quite match up to other PSVR 2 experiences. It's fine and it's pretty decent looking at times, but it also feels like it could be just a tiny bit better. Lastly of note is that there are some immersion breaking moments throughout. What would be a cutscene in another game, here Supermassive just removes your guns from your hands, and after a while you realise that the threat isn't there because your guns are gone. It makes sense to not allow you to ruin the moment by blasting gunfire all over these moments, but after a few levels you just feel like it's a bit less scary. While it relies heavily on jump scares for the fear factor, Switchback VR is just a superb way to spend your time. Fans of Supermassive Games' previous work will adore seeing these game worlds from a different perspective, and there's some inventive changes to a tried and tested on-rails gameplay style. It's not quite the ultimate showcase that I'd hoped for, but it's a damn good time, and it made me sweat and jump out of my skin aplenty, which I'd call a massive win, which is why I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10. Hey, Adam from godisgeek.com here. Thanks for watching our video review of the Dark Pictures Switchback VR, which I really enjoyed playing through. I just sat down and played it and played it and played it. It's great fun, and then went back and did alternative paths. And yeah, it's just a really fun game and a really good showcase of that VR experience you can have with PlayStation. If you did enjoy this video, hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss a future video. Let us know if you're going to be buying this one and what VR games you're playing on your shiny new PlayStation VR 2 in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.